but I'm just an artist. I am not a business leader. I don't think you want to hear any numbers or figures from me. So today I want to speak to you as a creator and an artist. I want to share my thoughts on how K-pop crossed borders to move the hearts of people. And I want to bring your attention to how we can work together to build this connection for tomorrow's creative cultural ecosystem. I'm a very lucky person. I'm lucky to have met the 6 other members of BTS. But most importantly, I'm lucky I'm an army who accept our music, not just as a diversion, but as our shared language of life. And by the way, ARMY is the name of the official BTS fandom. For your information, the ARMY. Woo! Shout out to ARMY all over the world. So ARMY support and passion crossed all borders and opened up like brand new path for me. They gave me a voice that was heard at the Billboard Music Awards, at the Grammys, at the United Nations, and even at the White House, at such historic and symbolic events like right here at the APEC. There is so much cultural content around the whole world, but why K-pop? Why is it so unique? Why does K-pop create this powerful and inclusive community? It's because of the special principle of unity of K-pop. This is what enables people from such diverse backgrounds to come together just through the medium of K-pop. I like to compare K-pop music to bibimbap, and bibimbap is a traditional Korean dish. You gotta taste it. So you take pop, which is rice, then you put all kinds of vegetables, meat, flavorings on top, and mix it all up, and that's the bibimbap part.
RM stood in front of world leaders at APEC, talking about bridging cultures and creative unity. And by the end of it, half the internet was like, wow, inspiring. And the other half went, okay, Philosopher King, relax. What was supposed to be a proud diplomatic moment turned into a debate about whether BTS's leader is a visionary or just vibing in delusion. So let's talk about what he actually said, why it triggered so much backlash, and whether RM's speech was truly deep or just dangerously performative. At the APEC CEO Summit 2025, RM delivered a keynote that honestly sounded straight out of a TED Talk with better lighting. He spoke during the session Cultural and Creative Industries in the APEC region and the Soft Power of K-Culture. He opened with warmth, proud to represent Korea and humble about being a creator. Then came the moment everyone quoted, "As a creator and artist of this generation, I'd like to make a request to the distinguished leaders of APEC. There are creators all over the world. Please help them. Give them the financial support so their creativity can bloom." He compared K-pop to bibimbap, Korea's iconic dish, saying, "You mix all kinds of flavors together, but each keeps its own identity." In short, creativity, unity, no borders, no limitations. It was poetic. Maybe a little too poetic for Twitter, because the internet immediately turned his bibimbap diplomacy into a roast buffet. Within hours, hashtag RMAPEC was trending, not for the reason you'd hope. The quote asking leaders to support creators financially blew up, and suddenly everyone was accusing him of hypocrisy. Critics said, oh, now he cares about other artists, bringing back the infamous BTS paved the way debate. Others called him a narcissist who constantly centers himself while pretending to be humble. One viral post read, "You discredit smaller artists by bragging BTS opened the doors and now you're preaching unity? Pick a lane." Then it got darker. Antis dragged up everything from Hybe's corporate scandals to his book collection, accusing him of everything under the sun. Some even called him a moralist in public, capitalist in private. The man couldn't even mention diversity without someone bringing up his investment portfolio. But here's the twist. Most people didn't even listen to the actual speech. According to Reuters, RM wasn't bragging, he was advocating. He said creativity happens when cultural barriers come down and different voices harmonize. He described culture as a river flowing freely and K-pop as a mix of global influences that keeps every flavor distinct. Like bibimbap. His point, diversity fuels creativity. Not that Korea's culture is better, but that it's powerful because it blends East and West. It was thoughtful, diplomatic, and exactly the kind of message APEC wanted. But let's be honest, Twitter doesn't do nuance. One clip out of context, and boom, he's suddenly an elitist philosopher with no self-awareness. Still, the timing didn't help because Hybe's reputation was already hanging by a designer thread. Hybe has been under fire for months. Everything from over-commercialization to AI experiments to treating idols like stock options. So when RM said, "Please help creators bloom," people shot back, "Tell that to your own company first." The irony practically wrote itself. And of course, the pave the way discourse returned like it's allergic to peace, with fans debating if BTS actually acknowledged artists like Wonder Girls, Psy, or Big Bang. Basically, one man's cultural metaphor reignited 10 years of fandom trauma. But here's the thing, RM's always been that guy who overthinks, overexplains, and still gets misunderstood. He's never been the typical idol. Where others do fan service, RM reads philosophy and quotes ancient poets on live streams. So when he speaks on culture, he's not chasing applause. He's trying to sound like a global thinker. The problem? The internet doesn't want thinkers. It wants drama. So his message about unity becomes an ego trip, and his metaphors turn into memes. He's not delusional. He's just existing in a world where sincerity gets ratioed. And yet, through all the noise, the fans and critics somehow agreed on one thing. He'll always make people talk. Armies praised him for representing Korea on a global stage and pushing art beyond language and defend him. They said, he's not perfect, but at least he's trying to use his platform for something meaningful. Meanwhile, critics doubled down, calling the whole thing corporate poetry dressed as activism. Basically, it's classic RM. Half the crowd's inspired, the other half's offended, and the rest are just waiting for the memes. So, was RM's APEC speech thoughtful or hypocritical? Maybe both, maybe neither. Drop the comment below. Genius or PR disaster? What do you think?